I guess I could title this video, I Told You So, or whatever. But this antic by the House and by Trump and by the Democrats and all this stuff, it's all a bunch of political theater, and nobody gives a shit about people hurting out here. They don't care. And it just makes people more and more cynical. And of course, I'm talking about Trump's little antic that he refused to pass the COVID-19 $900 billion or whatever the hell it is relief package that was passed by Congress. And he said unless they raised the individual amount of the stimulus from $600 to $2,000, he was not going to sign it. And of course, it was a way for Trump to stick it to Mitch McConnell, for Mitch McConnell refusing to play along with Trump's delusion that he was robbed of re-election by Joseph Biden. It's all a bunch of horse shit. So a cynic would say this was always going to be in the cards. They had months and months and months and months and months to do something. Remember months ago I talked about how worthless Mitch McConnell was, and I ranted that they weren't going to do anything about passing a stimulus package. And guess what? Here it is, Christmas Eve of 2020, and not one damn thing. They had to have this gigantic package and nothing. And it was all calculated. Let's face it. They had no intention. Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump had no intention of passing any kind of stimulus, any kind of COVID-19 aid. They just figure we're just completely disposable to them. These fucking crooks think we're totally disposable. So we could just starve, or we're just a bunch of bums. $2,000 won't go to the truly deserving. Yet these bastards make $170,000 a year, and that's just their that's just the taxpayer finance stuff. That's not counting all the money they get on the take. And of course, Trump is crooked as anything, and pilfering money right and left, and then pardoning people, pardoning all these criminals that he pardoned yesterday. But, people like Keith Olbermann, who's privileged, he's a millionaire many times over, and he gets all upset about Trump's pardoning these people this isn't even a surprise that he did this. I mean, who the hell could be surprised at all about that? But he doesn't get all outraged over this goddamn crap. And I blame everybody involved in this. They had months to pass this. But they decided to drag it out. And hell, Trump was talking months ago about having a $2,000 stimulus check. But Mitch McConnell couldn't do that. He couldn't do that. And he and his idiots in the Senate, they're worried about the deficit now. They spent the goddamn government down and down and down. And now as soon as a Democrat is in position to be in the White House, now they whine about the deficit. And of course, it's all bullshit anyway, because the country can't go broke since it has the right to print currency. So it's just, it's just all a bunch of horse shit. And people just keep waiting. They keep waiting to get the money, and which they're not going to get, not before at least January 20th of next year. That's a given. And the reason that's a given is because old Trump has left town for the holidays, and many have speculated he's not coming back to D.C. at all. So what'll happen is, with this COVID package, that's with the $600 stimulus, It's just going to die on the vine. He'll just pocket veto it. And note how they timed all this. Note how the GOP timed this right before the end of the congressional session. And anything that's not passed by the end of that Congress is all moot. And they have to start all over again. So don't hold your breath that you're going to get a dime. Any time before the 20th of January, because they can't do anything. Trump hasn't vetoed anything. He hasn't vetoed anything, but if he doesn't come back and do anything, it'll just die on the vine, just like they have wanted to all the time. Because the fact is, the Republicans don't want to help people out at all. Everybody could just fucking die, and especially after the election, and they don't give a damn. They've never given a damn about voters except the very wealthy and the corporations. That's their real true constituents. They don't care about anybody else except when it comes to the vote during elections. Then they could just go to hell. And that's the game they've played for decades. And then, of course, the Democrats, now some have thought, well, Nancy Pelosi was just so brilliant when Trump suggested the $2,000. Okay, we'll do it. But how was that brilliant when the Republicans checkmated the Democrats? They have no intention of ever passing it. They had no intention. So it doesn't matter if Trump was in cahoots with Mitch McConnell. It doesn't matter if Trump was mad at Mitch McConnell because Mitch McConnell didn't or has acknowledged that Joseph Biden was elected president. And it doesn't matter one iota about the Georgia Senate races coming up, which, in fact, to my knowledge, most of the voters have already voted. So it's not, I don't think this antic is going to really change much. We'll have to wait and see on that in about not quite 2 weeks. But people are screwed again, as always, by our completely and totally dysfunctional Congress. And by, of course, the useless madman in the White House.